It seems like every offseason, like Justin Herbert's off doing whatever he wants to do, not
Yeah.
bothering anybody, and then he gets brought into all these like lists and stuff, and people get pissed off. I guess the latest one, I saw other people pissed off about Jaden Daniels being ahead of basically everybody being ahead of Jalen Hurts, who was there because nobody has a Super Bowl ring except for Jalen. But in Jeremy Fowler's top 10 NFL quarterbacks, he had Herbert as number 7, Jalen Hurts as number 9. And one AFC exec said that with everything that Herbert's, what did he say? I think it said something along the lines of Herbert's kind of become underrated now because of what everybody else, well, like the weaponry that he's had around him and how bad they've been. But I mean, to each their own. In this, I'll probably be a little bit biased because I'm around him every day and everything. But to me, like if I had to choose a quarterback that I wanted, I would go with Herbert over Jalen Hurts. Again, that's just me. That's my preference of what I think. Jalen Hurts won at Alabama. He's won now in the NFL. But I mean, when you look at both teams, there's a huge discrepancy in the way a general manager is drafted over here and another general manager is drafted over there. Over here, he's had one head coach. No,
Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts. He's
Yeah,
had one,
no, 2. He had
two.
Peterson for
Oh
1
yeah,
year,
Doug Peterson is the one that drafted him.
but he
He's had
benched them
continuity
pretty
with the
much.
head coach. These guys have done everything that they can to put a good team around them. They've gone to the Super Bowl twice. They've won. They got them the best running back. They have the best offensive line. They've done a really good job. On the other side, there's been a lot of typical business as usual that I've seen since covering the starting to be around the team in 2013. Weird contracts, weird extensions, stuff like that. Again, I don't know what your thoughts are, but when we talk strictly quarterbacks, I do give it more to Justin than I do Jalen, just because of the skill set and everything else.
Yeah, I usually don't shy away from playing the heel, but I'll try to I'll play a little safe because there are multiple factors to this debate, and I really don't care about rankings, but I know Herbert's a hot topic on this program, so I'll try to, give my 2 cents here without riling people up. But it depends on what we're talking about here. Are we talking about a quarterback in the clutch moment who's been very successful in winning a lot of games? And I'll take Jalen Hurts in a heartbeat over Justin Herbert. We're talking about the guy we build in a factory with all the skill set. I'm taking Justin Herbert in a heartbeat. So you could talk about the outside factors where he doesn't have the same help. He doesn't have what Jalen Hurts has in Philadelphia, but you can't deny what Jalen Hurts has done on the big stage. He's outdueled Patrick Mahomes twice in the Super Bowl. They should have probably won that first game. Anytime they really need Jalen Hurts to come through, he does it in a big way. I get it. Last year, not as much because Saquon Barkley took a lot of pressure off him, and he had some bad games too. Let's keep it real with Jalen Hurts too. But I just go back to Justin Herbert. Like it's what, year 5, 6? I forget.
He's going
Fernando.
into year 6.
So for 5 years, man, his 2 biggest games, I know there weren't that many opportunities. It was Jacksonville and Houston, and he laid an egg. And I can't get over that. After 5, 6 years, no more excuse about being young. I hate the excuse about poor surroundings, not a lot of help. At some point, do it on your own. Like that's the reason why I like Jaden Daniels so much as rookie year. Like he had pretty much nothing. They were the Commanders. They were crappy, and he lifted them by making it work with Zach Ertz. McLaurin's very good. I get that. But let's not pretend like Justin Herbert didn't have Keenan Allen and Mike Williams when they were younger. But I digress. All I'm saying is skills and having all the tools is Justin Herbert. Winners in the clutch is Jalen Hurts. So it's 2 different arguments for me right there. The Jaden Daniels being number 5 is a little too soon. But I think I get why executives like that because he's shown that he could elevate people's games without having a good roster, without having elite coaching staff. So to me, that really goes a long way. But Hurts and Herbert are in this weird dilemma. But I'll tell you this, Fernando, like he's in this weird place too, Herbert, by the way, where he went from being asked to do too much with Brandon Staley, like a young coaching staff that has no idea what they're doing. But hey, you're very good. Go carry us, to a guy who knows what he's doing in Jim Harbaugh. But now he's being asked to do very little and kind of having the training wheels on. And I don't really like that. We'll see what Harbaugh and Roman do a year 2. But I want to see the Herbert that was in Las Vegas in Week 18, just carrying and balling, but a little more help. And Najee Harris doesn't want to help out, but we'll talk about that later. But Amari Hampton's going to help out. If Trey Harris ever signs, is going to help out. Year 2 lad McConkey is going to help out. But all I'm trying to say is I get the two arguments, but enough is enough. Herbert, please do something this year with the roster that you have.
When it comes to the Herbert notion last year, I feel like they asked him to do too much also in that aspect. Like, if you really sit down and I kind of looked over the J.K. Dobbins games, he would always have a big run. So like he like in against the Raiders, I think it was week 1. At the end of the game, he had 120 yards, but he had 65 on a big carry. And you start looking at some of his numbers and you're like, it's not as helpful as you thought. Gus Edwards wasn't what they thought. Hayden Hurst couldn't stay on the field. Again, I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying, like, last year, I thought they asked him to do a lot. This year, they may dial it back, like you said, because they have Najee Harris, Amari, and Hampton. I feel like these two running backs are going to be more of what he wants. But I do agree with you that Jalen Hurts has outdueled Mahomes in the 2 Super Bowls that they've played. Again, I thought he looked better in the first Super Bowl than he did this last Super Bowl. But this last Super Bowl was more on him. But this last Super Bowl was more on him because the Chiefs decided to say, hey, Saquon, you're not beating us. It's going to be Jalen that has to beat us. And Jalen ended up beating them. That defense ended up beating them up. So, but Jalen has been impressive. I still remember people thought he was going to be a 3rd round, 4th round pick. He ends up being the 2nd round pick in a class with 4 quarterbacks that everybody was saying were better than him. And he's the first one that wins the Super Bowl. My question is, though, is that Joe Burrow needs to start having questions asked about him, because Joe Burrow is living off of that 1 Super Bowl run that he had. Yeah. He hasn't made the playoffs ever since then. So I like when they say these top 4 quarterbacks, I'm not saying there's top 4 anymore. I'm saying there's 3. And then there's a space, and then it's like the rest of them kind of scrambled up. I can't put Burrow in there because Burrow's not making the playoffs. And again, I'm telling you right now, Burrow's not making the playoffs this year. I don't believe it, especially with the beef that they have with Trey Hendrickson. They have the beef with Shamar Stewart, who I guess are saying he's in Texas A&M. So there's a lot of players that I'm kind of like, I don't know. I still have questions about, but I do get the skepticism on Justin Herbert. He against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Yes, he doesn't play defense. I get that, but he had a chance to put that game away with Keenan Allen. He overthrew him on 3rd and goal. There were some other opportunities where they kicked field goals instead of going for touchdowns. Staley in that 2nd year, again, I thought he was too passive in a lot of situations, and that really hurt that team. I think he was told, you need to slow the hell down and stop going for it on 4th down, which, Gilbert, you and I were both there. That first year, that's what got them to the on the doorstep to the playoffs. Is going after that. Yeah. Exactly. And then you look at some of the other quarterbacks around there. Jaden Daniels, a little premature, but like you said, I get where they're coming from of why they're putting him there. Terry McLaurin might cash out thanks to him. I mean, Terry's a good quarterback or a good receiver. He's had 1,000 yards with crap quarterbacks back there, but he might cash out thanks to the rookie quarterback coming in and bailing him out. Matthew Stafford, I think, still gets a little bit too disrespected when it comes to these lists. I think Matthew is still one of the better quarterbacks, a gunslinger. But I mean, there's just disrespect everywhere.
Who's your 1 and 2, by the way?
Huh?
Who's your 1 and 2?
Ooh, 1 and 2. Who is it? They say it's Mahomes, Lamar, and Josh Allen. Going into this year, I would probably go Mahomes and then Josh Allen and then Lamar. I really think what Buffalo did was surround him with bees, and there's nothing wrong with that. They surrounded him with bee style of receivers, and a bunch of B's are better than C's and D's and F's. I think that's going to help him out. I'm not going to, again, you and I have both spoken about it until somebody knocks the Chiefs off. I can't discredit Mahomes, so I'm going to still put Mahomes up there. Lamar, this is Lamar's year. Put up or shut up. I mean, you have probably one of the most talented rosters you've ever had. If you can't win a Super Bowl this year, then now you start getting in that conversation where you become the Phillip Rivers of the
Oh,
conversation,
yeah.
where you can't get it done, even though they have big team, or not Phillip Rivers, but like one of those guys that just can't get it done and can't get over the hump. Now, again, going back to Herbert, this is a huge year for him, because I think what everybody's holding out hope on is Peyton Manning didn't win his first playoff game until his 6th year. Well, here it is. Here's your 6th year. You have to win a playoff game this year, and not just one. I think they need to at least make it to at least the AFC champ. Well, no, if they make it to the AFC championship, I think that's huge for this team moving forward. But again, ifs and buts. But yeah, there's a lot of question marks that I have with a lot of quarterbacks this year, just because of some of those questions. But I just don't know if I'd put Jalen all that much higher. I get he won the Super Bowl and everything, but again, those factors. I mean, the way Philly's drafted, they're so stacked. It's ridiculous. I mean, they even have replacements for the replacements, which is crazy. But
I'll
if you
just
have
add
one
two.
more, final
I'll
thought.
just add 2 more points real quickly. I think CJ Stroud needs to get more respect. I know it was kind
that
of
was another one. Yep.
kind of a so-so second year, but again, he won that playoff game. He was very good his first year, but I think he's a very good pocket quarterback. He's able to elevate people's games, and we'll see how it goes with the offensive line. If he makes that work with that crappy old line, then he'll probably be a lot higher. And then the Burrow thing, I get what you're saying, but I will rank him number 2 just because I thought he played from quarterbacking last year. He was probably playing at the highest level. I get that they didn't win a game, so he wasn't in the MVP conversation, but honestly, if I had a vote, I probably would have considered Joe Burrow over Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson just feels like, oh, look at his stats. He's very good. You got to throw him in there. It didn't feel like he was taking over games like Josh Allen did at some point.
That's why when the whole MVP conversation, I was like, I don't like Josh in the fourth quarter was wheeling and dealing. I didn't think Lamar was doing.
He was having more an impact. I get the Jackson fatigue. Maybe I'm knocking him for that, but in terms of quarterback play, I thought Burrow was the best. And if I'm talking about his bad defense, then I get people going to talk about, well, why you don't give Herbert more credit with his bad surroundings. I get that, but I think I am also still remembering that run to the Super Bowl, like you said, Fernando. But like you're right, though, it's been a long time. And I did mention last year that the Bengals were the most overrated team in the NFL, and that's still true. But in terms of quarterbacking, man, Burrow was an assassin. He was very good, but I'll say this: I'm with you. If they miss the playoffs again, and you're not able to get there with what you have, that tough crap. Or I can't say it. I'll say shit. Whatever. Tough shit. You went to the Bengals, and that's your fault. I guess it's not really your fault, but you're the number 1 pick, and you went there. Shamar Stewart had a choice. He's gonna leave. You could have had a choice, Joe Burrow. So enough is enough. If you don't get to the playoffs this year, then I guess I won't be as high on him next year. But his quarterbacking, man, he was very good last year. Is that documentary, by the way, come out yet? The Netflix, or is that all over social
Which
media?
one?
The quarterback on Netflix.
I think it's already come out, all of it.
Oh, because it's all over social media. I feel like I've watched it. So
that is another crazy thing. Remember, Lamar said he didn't want to play Mahomes in the flag. That's nuts.
Oh, that was a red flag.